Baruch Hashem, we have the schus that the shiurei Torah of the Koil Boiker V'Smed Asher Chayim still continues, obviously through today's technology, Zoom, recording, hookups. The schus HaTorah, the limud HaTorah, the rabbim, should be a schus for Klal Yisrael, a schus for Chayli Yisrael, ubefrat for Aryeh Alter ben Gittel, Refuah Shalema. The previous shurim, as well as today's shir, is on the topic of Dalet Kosos. In particular, we're going to discuss in the Dalet Kosos the dinim of the wine of the Dalet Kosos. The Gemara says, the Gemara in Pesachim, Daf Kuf Ches Amud Beis, Zok the Gemara, Shoson Chai, if somebody drinks the wine that's in the kos, he does the Dalet Kosos properly, the first kos Kiddush, and so on. But the wine that he puts in is chai. Chai means that it was not diluted. In the olden days, when they made wine, it was a very thick syrup. And any time you wanted to drink the wine, you had to add in water into the wine. Without adding in the wine, water into the wine, it didn't taste, its full, proper, geschmack, enjoyable wine. So the Gemara says, let's say you use this wine that was not diluted, it's not a good wine. So the Gemara says, Yideyayin Yotza. You were Yoitza. The mitzvah explains Rashi, the Rashbam, you were Yoitza, the mitzvah of Dalet Kosos. Dalet Kosos, you were Yoitza. However, the Gemara continues, Yidei Cheiris lo Yotza. You were not Yoitza, explains Rashi, the Rashbam. Even though you were Yoitza, mitzvah Dalet Kosos, however, what does it mean, the angel mitzvah shlema? It means you were yoytze the mitzvah, but you didn't do it lemahadrin. Being mekayim mitzvah Dalet Kosos means to use proper good wine. You didn't use geschmack of good wine, so Mamela, even though you were yoytze the mitzvah, you're not yoytze bihidura. The Brisker Rav explains this Gemara this way, and he also brings that the Ran says like that Mefurish. The Ran explains the Gemara that you yoytze mitzvah Dalet Kosos. However, even though you were yoytze mitzvah Dalet Kosos, you were not yoytze the mitzvah limahadrin. So that's the first thing in the Gemara Shosan Chai. Then the Gemara has another case, and the Gemara says Shosan bivasachas. Shosan bivasachas, which means these different ways to understand, but Shosan bivasachas means instead of splitting up the 4 kosos, one for Kaddish, one for the Haggadah, one for Birchas Hamazon, you drank all 4 kosos together. So over there the Gemara says, Shosan bivasachas Yidei Yayin Yotza, which means Yidei Yayin, Rashi and the Rashbam explain, you Makayim Simchas Yom Tov. It's very nice, you drank wine on Yom Tov. However, Zok the Gemara, Yidei Dalet Kosos la Yotza, you were not Yotza 4 kosos, like we explained earlier. The way how to define 4 kosos, it has to be each one ala seder. Al kapadim, you're not Makayim the mitzvah at all. What are you Makayim? What does it mean Yidei Yayin? Yidei Yayin means you Makayim Simchas Yom Tov. So what comes out clearly from this Gemara? In the first case of Shosan Chai, that you drank the wine, that was, let's call it raw, which means it wasn't diluted with water. Over there, you were yoytze the mitzvah. However, you weren't yoytze the mitzvah bihidura. And in the second din, that you drank it b'basachas, over there, you're not yoytze b'chlal. Good. However, the Girsa of the Rif and the Rambam, the Girsa and the Rif, in the second case, the case of Shosan bivasachas, they have the Girsa Yidei Cheiris Yotza, Yidei Dalet Kosos lo Yotza. Yidei Dalit Kosos lo yatsa, that we could understand, just like we were learning told now, you're not yotze Dalit Kosos, why not? Because you were shasam bevasachas. However, what does it mean, yedei cheres yatsa? Yedei cheres yatsa, which cheres is also speaking about the Dalit Kosos, and the Gemara says, yedei cheres yatsa, that you were yotze dinei cheres. So, what's going on over here? Were you Yoitze Dalit Kosos or were you not Yoitze? Bishloima in the first Gemara. So the Gemara says you're Yoitze when you're just on Chai. However, even though you were Yoitze, it's not Bihidura. But if Yivait was saying in the second case, Shasam Bevas Achas, which means Shasam Bevas Achas. Shasam Bevas Achas. We're saying but Dalit Kosos, you're not Yoitze, so you're not Yoitze. If you're not Yoitze in Dalit Kosos, so what does it mean Yedei Cheres Yatsa? Either you were Yoitze the Dalit Kosos, or you were not Yoitze the Dalit Kosos. So Mela explains the Rav, the Brisker Rav, and we used this Yesod already the previous shir, but explains the Brisker Rav that this is a Shitas Rambam, that the Rambam holds that there are two dinim. There are two dinim in Dalit Kosos. One din is to have Dalit Kosos and to drink it. To drink it, derech cheres, the Lashon Rambam is that chayav adam laharos, and you do it through drinking Dalit Kosos. So that's one din in being Makayim mitzvahs Dalit Kosos is by drinking it derech cheres. That's one din. And a second din is to have Dalit Kosos, Kosos shal bracha. Kosos shal bracha means, what it says Kosos shal bracha, which means the first kos should be with Kiddush, the second kos should be with Haggadah, the third kos with Birchas Hamazon. So these two dinim, again, first din is to have a shtia, to drink the kos derech cheres, and the second din is to have a kos for Kiddush, a kos for Birchas Hamazon, a kos shal bracha. The Mela explains the Brisker of the following. The second Gemara of Shasam Bevasachas. When the Gemara says Yidei Dalit Kosos lo Yatsa, that is the din of Kos Shal Bracha. Because each kos has to be its own kos. If you drink it all together, you don't have 4 kosos shal bracha. However, Yidei Cheres Yatsa, what does it mean Yidei Cheres Yatsa? Yidei Cheres Yatsa is because the din Cheres, as we explained, the other din in Dalit Kosos is to drink the Dalit Kosos to show Cheres. So that, even if you drink it about Sachas, that was accomplished of Shtia B'derech Cheres. Even though it's a Chiddush, I would be able to hear that you do not have this din also not, because it's B'Basachas, it's one kos, so you don't have 4 koses even Legabi the Shtia of Cheres. But that the Brisker says, no, that you do have. Yidei Cheres Yatsa, because by drinking 4 cups, even Vasachas, you Makayim the Dine Cheres. Shtia shal Cheres. However, the other din, the din of Kos shal bracha, you're not Yotza. So when the Gemara says Shasam Vasachas, one din of Dalit Kosos you're Yotza, and one din you're not Yotza. Now we could go back to the first din in the Gemara. The Gemara says Shasan Chai. Up until now we learned you were Yotza, but you were not Yotza Bihidura. Now we're learning fakert. That the pshat is that you're not the pshat is you're Yotza, but you're not Yotza Bihidura. One din you are Yotza, and one din you're not Yotza. Legabi the din of Al HaKois Kos Shal Bracha. Legabi that din, Lamaisa, even though it's chai, it's not the perfect wine, but Lamaisa, it's an okay wine for Kiddush. So Memela, you're Yotza. Legabi them, you're Yotza. But Legabi the din that the shtia should be, you should drink it derech cheres. So drinking wine that's undiluted, that's not called drinking it derech cheres. So Memela, Lafir Shitas Harabam and the Rif, in both dinim of the Gemara, one one din of Dalet Kosos you are Yotze, and one din you're not Yotze. Speaking about the type of wine, and as we mentioned, not yayin chai, either it's not behidura or you're not yotze both dinim of Dalet Kosos. The Gemara on the same Amud, a little further down, the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, tzarech sheyehei boy, in the Dalet Kosos there has to be tam, umara, the wine that's inside the Kosos have to have tam, the taste of wine, umara, and it has to look like wine. Zok the Gemara Amar Rava, why? My time in Rabbi Yehuda the Chsiv al Teiriyayin Kiyas Adam. So the Gemara says the wine has to look like wine and has to taste like wine. Rashbam explains al Teiriyayin al Tachma Lias Rogaboy Kiyas Adam Mechlal the Yayin Nami Maraboy. The wine has to be red. A proper definition, a good wine, a wine is red. And the Rashbam says, it also has to have taste. So the Gemara says, and it's from a pasuk, the Gemara says that the proper wine is when it's red. Why does it have to be red? So the first reason really is this Gemara with a pasuk. Altera Yankee is Adam, which means wine, when we're defining wine, a good wine is when it's red. That's one reason. Another reason why the wine should be red, Zokta Zerua and Hilchas Pesachim, Hilchas Pesach, the Zerua says that it should be zecher to the dam that Paro used when he shechted Yiddish kids to remember that dam. So these are two reasons. The Mishnah Berurah brings both of the reasons. Siman Taf Ayin Beis Sif Kot and Lamed Ches. On the din of the Shulchan Aruch brings that one should rather litchatchila. It's a hiddur to have red wine. And the Mishnah Berurah brings these two reasons. There are quite a few other reasons as well. Another reason brought in the Ar Zerua. He says that the wine of the Dalet Kosos should be red, zecher to the Dam Pesach and the Dam Mila. Another reason is zecher to the Dam that Klal Yisrael put on the mashkayf and the mezuzahs and Mitzrayim on the night when the Bechorim died, and we put on the door. So that was a shmirah. That's why the dam of the Dalet Kosos should be red. And another reason, a fifth reason, this is the Prima Godim, Zeiche to the Makas Dam, that was a Mitzrayim, Zeiche Lanes. There are other reasons. I would like to ask the Olam on the reasons of red wine. So the first reason is, that's a definition of wine as red. The second couple of reasons are reasons relevant to the wine to remember of what was a Mitzrayim. The first reason, let's call it the second reason, that we said why red wine, to remember the blood that Pari took when he shechted kids of Bnei Yisrael. So the shaila is, what was bothering me is, the Kosos, the Dalet Kosos, we drink it as we just mentioned before. It's for Cheres. We drink it behaseba. So how is it within the Cheres itself, within the Dalet Kosos, included in that, do we also have in the Dalet Kosos that it reminds us of the Dam, in other words, of the Avdus, of the Meriras mixed in? No. Bishloim and the other reasons, Zeichel Adam, Zeichel to the Dam Pesach, Dam Mila, these are all along the lines of Yitzia, along the lines of Cheres, But how do we understand that the red wine is reminding us of something bitter in Mitzrayim? Now, the truth of the matter is, we have to really understand Pesach by night, the Leil HaSeder. If you take a look by other Yom Tovim, each Yom Tov has its theme, has its mode. For an example, the past Yom Tov Purim. By Purim, all the mitzvahs are to bring Simchas Purim. Suda, Mishloach Manas, we had a few shurim on that. It's all, the theme is to be happy, Simchas Purim. Tisha B'Av, everything we do, whether if it's Medina, the Gemara, if it's a minig of later, it's all to bring us to Avelus of the Churban. However, by Leil Seder, what's going on over here by the Leil Seder? We have Maror, which is Meriris, but the Maror is sitting on a table which is set up beautifully, supposed to have beautiful kalim. So what's Pesach by night? Is Pesach by night Cheres, or is Pesach by night Avdus, Meriris, bitterness? And the truth is, this is the Mefarshei Haggadah explain, the truth is this question that we're asking is really the questions asked in the Manashtana. The shilas of the Manashtana are, 2 out of the 4 are that what's going on here? We eat matzah, which is zeichel lecheres, like we say later on in the Haggadah, matzah zu al zashanu, we went out b'chipazim. We also eat Pesach by night beheseba, and that's also zeicher lecheres, to put us in the mode of cheres. However, meidach Maror is gara zeichel avdus. The tibul that we dip into salt water is also avdus. So the shaila is, what's going on Pesach by night? Is Pesach by night avdus, or is Pesach by night cheres? So what's the answer? The answer is, like the Haggadah Taka tells us, Avodim ayinu leparoi b'Mitzrayim, v'yotziyenu. In other words, Pesach by night, whether if it's Avdus or Cheres, the answer is, it's not just that it's both, it's mixed Avdus and Cheres. It's also the transition. We were Avodim in Mitzrayim, and that's why we have Maror and Meriris and Avdus. And this night, we went out of Mitzrayim from Avdus to Cheres. We went out in the morning, but what we're celebrating, Pesach by night by the Seders, from being Avodim to becoming B'nai Chayrin. Including the transition, that's part of what we're doing, and that's the kiyum by the Seder from Avdus l'Cheres. As a matter of fact, the Chassam Sofer asks, why don't we make a bracha on the mitzvah of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim? It's a mitzvah minat Torah. Where's the bracha for Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim? Before we start Haggadah Shal Pesach, we should make a bracha. Zok the Chassam Sofer that we taka do make a bracha. You're asking that where is the bracha? We taka do make the bracha. Where is the bracha? The bracha is Asher Galanu. Frek the Chassam Sofer, I hear you taka make the bracha and the bracha is Asher Galanu, but it's at the end of the Haggadah. We know these are klal kol ha-brachas mevarach aleim over lasiyasa. So why do we make the bracha at the end? We should make it in the beginning. Zok the Chassam Sofer that just like when a person becomes a ger, a goy that is megayer himself and he becomes a ger, he doesn't make the bracha before because he's still a goy. He has to first become a ger. So too over here, we start off the night with Avdus, and then we go out of Mitzrayim, B'nai Chayrim, then we can make the bracha. So from the Chassam Sofer, you see mamash bepoyo, that it's not just an inyan. It's like what the Rambam says, chayv laharos. We're reliving it, being avodim, and then afterwards going out of Mitzrayim, and then later, after going out of Mitzrayim, then we can make the bracha. And if you could allow me, it's even a stretch a bit more. Not only there are some things in the Seder that are cheres, some things are avdus. In matzah itself, there is both. There is the inyan zeichel lecheres, like we say in the Agada, matzah zu al shema shel hispek betzeikam, which means it reminds us that when we had to fly out of Mitzrayim and the dough, we didn't have time to be able to bake it, that's the matzah. So there matzah shows us is moira on cheres. However, me'idach, in the beginning of the Haggadah, the beginning of the Seder, we start off ha lachma anya, which means it's bread, the anya, the chol avasana, ba'ara the Mitzrayim, which means it's lechem of the Eved, lechem shel avdus. So, is matzah coming to tell us cheres, or is it really showing us avdus? And the answer is Dr. Ramban in Parshas Re'eh, middle of a shtickle, Dr. Ramban, that the mitzvah of matzah, when the Torah gives us the mitzvah of matzah, it's zeichel lecheres. However, it's both. It's zeichel lecheres, and not only is it zeichel lecheres, it's also the mitzias of matzahs lachem oini. It goes on the pasuk says lachem oini kibuchi pasan. I know it's both. The Eved Ezra says the reason we give matzah to an Eved is because it's cheap, not our matzahs. And besides that it's cheap, it also takes a long time to digest. So come to Chayes and matzah, we have both. We have side that it's lechem oini, and also besides it being oini, it's also cheres. Oibazoi could be legabi dalet kosos the same thing. Dalet kosos, though dalet kosos is an inyan of cheres, we do it by a seiba, it's cheres. But together with the cheres is also avdus, just like the matzah. Matzah is cheres and avdus. The dalet kosos also is cheres, but it's avdus. The red wine reminds us of the wine of when Paroi shechted the kids. To bring it out and to illustrate it a bit more, we actually elaborated and explained, the Emek Bracha brings from Rab Chaim, that there are 3 chilukim between the din of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, the mitzvah Pesach by night, and the mitzvah of Schiras Yetzias Mitzrayim every day. There's something unique Pesach by night, and one of the 3 dinim chilukim that he explains what is bedafka by the mitzvah Sipur Pesach by night, he says is every night, every day when you maske Mitzrayim, it's just you maske Mitzrayim. Over here, there's a din that you're supposed to be maschol beginos u'masayim b'shvach. We start off Haramid Oiviravi, and then Vayoytzienu Masayim B'Shvach. What's the pshat? What's this din? Start off one way and end off. What's the vart? The pshat is because it brings out more the shvach. The Hainu brings out the Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim by starting off to say what we didn't have. Bedoima. Who appreciates more wealth? Somebody that was poor and became wealthy, or somebody that was always born into wealth? Somebody who's born into wealth doesn't really know different, as opposed to somebody that was poor and then became wealthy. So over here, the reason why we start begnus umesayim b'shvach, to bring out the shvach, to bring out the Yetzias Mitzrayim. Memela, it could be, that would be the pshat, by the matzah, by the dalet kosos. Though, of course, the dalet kosos be a soide is taka cheres. We do it by hasevetz cheres. But to bring out more the cheres, the red wine reminds us the avdos, so we have a bigger cheres. It brings out the contrast, it brings out more when we speak about the avdos to understand what we gained with the cheres. So this is the first thing, that it's preferable. Again, the Shulchan Aruch says there's a mile of using red wine. Though, if somebody likes better white wine, it's perfectly fine to use white wine. However, Dr. Vozim Beis Halevi, that even if you're going to use the white wine, you enjoy it, you only have white wine, you have a little bit of red wine, one should mix in a little bit of red wine into the white wine to make it red, so you have these milas. Whether the first reason, you have the milas of the red wine. So even though it's not ma'akiv, one should try and pour in a little bit of red wine to make his white wine look somewhat red. Me'idach, Yibadul Chaim Reb Chaim Kanevsky in the Agadah Shal Pesach, he says that no, by just putting in a little bit of red wine and just changing the color a little bit, that's not going to accomplish to make it into red wine. Red wine is when it's be'etzem red wine, or at least when you put in so much, kidei meziga, which means it's fully red wine. Just to put in a little tinge of red wine to make it red, that's not called red wine. I was wondering if this, what Reb Chaim Kanevsky is saying, is maybe only the first reason. The first reason that we said that the reason why you should have red wine is because of the pasuk that red wine be'etzim is more meshubach in wine. So just by putting in a little bit of a tinge of red wine to make this white wine look red, you're not really accomplishing anything. However, the other reasons, that the red wine reminds us of the dam. The red wine reminds us of dam Pesach and dam Milah. So who cares if it's not be'etzem red wine? Even if you put in a tinge, a little bit of red wine, it looks red, l'chayr, it should be good. So maybe this that he says that it doesn't work is only the first side. But one thing I want to tell you clearly, even if you're going to put in red wine, Dr. Shlomo Zalman, it's got to be red wine. Just to mix in a little bit of red food coloring, that's not going to help. He says, Bedoima, let's say somebody has white wine and he has a red glass. So the red glass, it looks red through the glass. Havada, that's nothing. Red wine, the wine through a red glass is not enough, it doesn't help. So mainly says food coloring also wouldn't help. It is important to note that if you are going to put in red wine, what happens if the white wine is already in your becher, you just left a little bit of space on the top to put in some red wine? Is there a shaila of tzoveya if you're going to do it on Yom Tov? There's a isser tzoveya. So l'chayre, maybe one should refrain from doing it on Yom Tov. So in Hilchas Shabbos Siman Shin Chaf is mevur that it's mutter because ain't tzviya ba'oichlin. Even though there's a isser tzoveya to paint the color, when it comes to food, ain't tzviya ba'oichlin. Now, even if the shittas, the Chai Adam, the shittas that say that they're machmer, even the shittas that are machmer, Dr. Vosner and Shevet Halevi Chelik Yud Siman and Vav, that if you put the red wine first, and then on top of that, you put the white wine. There, it's not an issue, because you're not really painting the wine. Meaning to say is, if you have white wine, you put in a little bit of red wine on top, so that red wine on top really is coloring the white wine. But here, you have red wine on the bottom. On top, you're putting in the white wine. When the white wine comes in, just as it hits, it's red. Even though the only reason you're putting in the red wine is to be tzaveyat, the color of the white wine, there is no other reason why you're putting it besides this, still, it helps. Meaning to say is it helps that there should not be an issue of eid tzviya ba'oichlem, and you can put the red wine first, then the white wine, and then it's going to help. So this is all a shmuz l'gabi dalat kosos. What's about regular Kiddush? Kiddush Friday night during the year. Is there an Indian to use red wine? So in Hilchas Shabbos, Siman, Reishai and Beis Sif Dalet, the Shulchan Aruch mekatchen al yayin lavan, even though the Ramban actually says that it's possible even b'diavad, the Shulchan Aruch says u'minig olim kasvar rishoina mekatchen al yayin lavan. And as explained, l'tchatchila one should use red wine, and the reason for that is, even though all the reasons we said now is all Pesach-dige reasons, but the first reason, like the Gemara by us says from the Pasuk, that red wine is more meshubachdik. So if red wine is better, it's better even for this as well. Also, it's better for Kiddush as well. So far we covered wine, yayin chai, which is less relevant to us. It's not so common to have wine that was not diluted. The wine usually that you have no matter what is ready to drink. We also just spoke about the color of the wine. Preferably it should be red. I saw brought that Rav Eider said from Rav Moshe that red doesn't have to be a deep pitch red. Some other lighter reds are also fine. Let's move on now to the next step in the Gemara. The Gemara we said, Rabbi Yehuda Oime tzorich sheyeh boi tam umare. So mara we explained has to look like wine, which means red. What's tam mean? Zokter Moshe in the Haggadah Shal Pesach Kol Doidi, his son Yibadol L'chaim Reb David brings from his father that since tam, what does tam mean? You take a look in the Rashbam. The Rashbam says words the taima nami boy kidemahader alei shaloi lehishtaker boy. Shaloi lehishtaker, which means not to get drunk. Dr. Moshe, which would seem that the wine, what type of wine, in taima, in the taste, what type of wine, you have to have wine that it's shaykh to get drunk. And therefore he says one should not use grape juice for dalet kosos. Because you need something to be able to get drunk, not dalet kosos. Not the grape juice. You're going to tell me if I'm going to use regular wine, it's going to cause me headaches and it's going to bother me. So on that, the Gemara read in the Durham Daf Mem Tesam at Beis, Rabbi Yehuda was chash beroshai. He had headaches from drinking dalet kosos Pesach by night, from Pesach till Shavuos. So Mamela, one should drink wine, Dr. Moshe, not grape juice. Of course, if it's somebody that will drink wine and he'll get so sick that he'll not be able to makayim mitzvahs halayla, that's not what we're talking about. But if somebody that could drink it, but it's just not geschmack, it's not comfortable, it's going to bother him, one should preferably, and one should use wine and not grape juice. The same is also the Das Rabbi Yashiv, to be machmir litchatchila, the stipler. Ve'idach, Reb Shloime Zalman, and Alicha Shloime, they even say that Imam Hashiv Taka used, as maybe it was later in his life, used grape juice of Shloime Zalman. Reb Moshe Sternbach, Shlita brings that the Briskerov said grape juice is okay. Though it's a bit of a chiddush, we explained the Briskerov says that there's also a din of chayris, not only a din of kiddush al koshal bracha, this din of cheres. So I would think maybe that this din of cheres maybe should be daf go on, but it says no, grape juice is okay. And also there should be in a rav said grape juice is fine. So we have a machlokes, a shaila about grape juice. Lamaisa, there are wines that are very light, the Concord Kal, Uchedaima, that a person could use if he wants to try to be mahadir, machmer, not use grape juice. Speaking about the types of wines, we spoke about chai, we spoke about the color, we spoke about wine as opposed to grape juice. There is another maila in the type of wine that goes into your dalit kosos, Pesach by night. Zok the Shulchan Aruch, also in Hilchas Pesach, Hilchas dalit kosos, Siman Tov Ayin Beis, Yotzin B'yayin Mevushal. Wine that's Mevushal, we're going to speak about it briefly, these different things, what goes into Mevushal, Oifanim, how it's made, pasteurization. I spoke about it more by Arichas way back when we learned Hilchas Yayin Nesach. So I gave a shir about it, and I spoke a little bit to the Mumchem to understand the different types of grape juice. But we're going to try to just cover the Ikar Hadin. Mevushal, L'tchatchila, the Shulchan Aruch says, Yotzim b'yayin mevushal, Zok the Mishnah Berurah, which means L'tchatchila, rather it should be Einay mevushal. And this has nothing to do with what we spoke a minute ago about grape juice or not grape juice, which, by the way, grape juice also could very well be Einay mevushal. The glass bottles, and for sure before Pesach, usually you could get even the plastic ones that are Einay mevushal. Einay mevushal. For whatever dinim that come with Einay mevushal, person has to be careful. Yayin Nesach. So grape juice, I'm sorry, even wine, it's more muhuder rather to use Einay mevushal. The same thing is also in Hilchas Shabbos, Mekatchen al Yayin mevushal. This is in Hilchas Kiddush, Reish Ayin Beis Siv Ches, which means it's better, not mevushal. Why? Like Apid the Rambam Perek Tes in Hilchas Shabbos Halach Yidal, that the Rambam says that one should not be mekadosh only on wine that's royal and nasach al gabi hamizbeach. So Mamela Mevushal was not kosher on the mizbeach. You shouldn't be mekadosh with such wine. And the chiddush goes weiter that even Gabi Dalet Kosos, Avada, the first Kosos Kiddush, but even all four Kosos were saying preferable, one should use wine, or if you're using grape juice, that's Einay mevushal. We should be Zoicha to Yeshuos, V'nachamos, and this year, Pesach, we should have the Korban Pesach with Mashiach Tzedkeinu.